My name is James Gwilliam, and today I thought that I'd tell you guys a story. Now, this isn't just a normal story, this is going to have a very important message behind it, and something that all of you guys listening or watching, I'm not sure what the video is going to look like as of yet, but we'll work that out later. Basically, something you guys should take away from this video, and that is simply just the title. Is this video is going to explain my experiences and also the reasons why you should never buy a car in the dark and in the rain. So simply put, I bought a car in the dark and in the rain, and it was quite possibly one of the biggest mistakes, especially financially, with a car that I've done. I've was interested in buying a car here and there, to try and sell it on, just having a bit of fun, really. And I came across this one car on Facebook Marketplace, actually, and it was a decently rare car. It was a 1997, I believe, Renault Safran. Now, you might be thinking, James, what on earth is a Renault Safran? Now, hopefully there should be some form of picture of it on screen as I'm speaking about the car. It was a nice green, basically four-door saloon sort of thing. It had a really nice leather interior. It had an automatic gearbox with a 2-litre engine, and it ran and drove really well. You might be thinking, James, you bought a car that has a nice interior, it has a nice engine, a nice gearbox, it runs well. What was the problem with it? Well, as we'll come to discover in the rest of the story, basically the problem was that I did actually buy this in the dark and in the rain. Now, what does this stop you from doing? Now, in the dark, it stops you from viewing certain things about the car. They might be hidden in the dark, you might need torches, and even with a torch you might not see certain things because it's dark and certain areas of the car are not properly visible. That's the main problem with it being in the dark. You also can't see the paintwork too well. Just things like that, really, in the dark. But the biggest problem, the biggest thing you shouldn't do is buy a car when it's raining. Now, unfortunately, it just got dark and it just started raining when I went to go and look at this car. And it was up for a decent price. I think it was up for £350 or something like that. There was less than 75 of these cars in the UK, and it had a nice interior. It drove well, so I was interested. So the rain obviously stops you from... Really, it kind of stops you from going underneath the car. You can't examine the paintwork properly because there's rain on it, there's water on it. You don't really want to be there. You don't really want to be there outside, so you spend less time inspecting the car and looking at the car and things like that. So, the catch on this car is that it didn't have an MOT. Now, you might be thinking, screaming at your screen, going, James, you're an idiot. Why have you bought a car with no MOT? Which, yes, I'll have my hands up. No MOT was a bit of a risky decision. However, the MOT had only just run out a month or so before. There's no reason why it shouldn't pass a new one. So I ended up buying this car, which I didn't inspect that much, in the dark and in the rain, for about £340. Now, you might be thinking, that's not bad. A running, driving car with a nice leather interior for £340. And yes, it was indeed a decent deal. However, I bought this car in the dark and in the rain. Now, I'm going to keep reiterating this because it's something you guys should never ever do if you want to buy a car. Even if it's a personal use and you're not trying to sell it on, make sure you don't buy a car in the dark and the rain, because it's ridiculous what happened to me with this car. So, obviously this car hasn't featured on the channel because obviously it's gone. And the reason why is because it had to be scrapped. Reason being, we got it home. We ended up taking it for an MOT as soon as we could book it in. And I was excited for this car. It was one of the first cars I was really excited about because it was nice and rare. It drove quite well. I only did drive it to the MOT station and back, which was about 2 miles in total, maybe. So keep that in mind later on in the video. So the MOT, it's a nice MOT station. I really recommend them. I'm not going to name any names though, just for privacy reasons. I'm not sure whether they'd want their name out there, or so there's no agreement there, so I'm going to leave their name out just for privacy reasons. Well, he did the MOT. Unfortunately, it didn't pass. Now I'm going to run through the things it didn't pass on now. I've not got a fail sheet because it was that long. So the first thing, it would not pass an emissions test. Now, an emissions test is a test that all cars have to go through when having an MOT, and it means that they don't produce too much harmful gases for the environment. Now, this car was that bad, the exhaust on it was that bad, it wouldn't even get a reading, let alone pass the test. So that was the first problem, new exhaust. So you might be thinking, that's not too bad. Well, the list goes on. Both rear brake discs were warped, so that was new discs and therefore new pads with it. It needed new rear calipers. There were brake pipes on the rear of the car underneath that were ready to burst. So basically, a whole rear brake system was shot on this car, and it was gone, basically. It was going to cost a lot of money. But this wasn't it. That wasn't it. There was even more wrong with this car. Now, the sills. And a lot of you guys who know about cars and know about older cars know about sills. And what they are is the piece of metal underneath the doors that connects things together, and they need to be structurally sound because it helps the safety of the car. Now, if a car has bad sills, or they're not structurally sound, it will fail an MOT. And this is why you hear a lot of classic cars that need welding. 9 times out of 10, it's the sills that need doing. Now, the sills on this car weren't just weak. They weren't just slightly rusted. They were gone. They were there, but then the second you poked them, they disintegrated into little tiny pieces of rust. And it was on the same on both sides all the way down the sills. The inner and outer sills were both shot. Unfortunately, I'm not getting any pictures of this sort of stuff, or else it will be popping up on screen as I'm saying it. But we live and learn. And essentially, that is the whole point of this video. I ended up having to scrap that car, and therefore I spent about £100 per mile in losses. Sorry about that. Video got interrupted, unfortunately, but I was speaking about how much I spent £100 a mile driving this car in losses. Now, that is genuinely ridiculous, and the whole point of this video is that I want you guys to learn from this bad experience that I've had. I thought I'd tell you guys this story I've had about this car. The moral of the story, basically speaking, is, be more savvy when you're buying cars. Make sure you inspect them properly. Don't buy them in the dark. Don't buy them in the rain, and especially don't buy them when it's in the dark and it's raining like I did. Complete rookie mistake. I'll never make it again. And to be honest with you, that's the whole point of this video, really. I thought I'd share with you my story and the experience about, this terrible experience I had buying a car that I lost a lot of money on. I was really excited for it, and I was really gutted when it had to be scrapped because it failed the MOT that badly. So that honestly is it. I'm not sure how well this video is going to come out. It's a different style of video that I've done today, and I hope it's still enjoyable for you guys to watch. And so yeah, don't buy a car in the dark, don't buy a car in the rain, and don't buy one when it's in the dark and it's raining. That's it from me in today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Slightly different. Let me know about it in the comments. Let me know what you think. And I will see you guys in the next video.